It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday. What? It's live again. It's Saturday, Sunday. What? It's live again.
Are you ready?
Helping people who are living and working in Spain. It's The Right Way with David Wright.
Very good afternoon and welcome to The Right Way with me, David Wright, this Friday afternoon. Well, it's almost the weekend, and a big thanks to John Alex for keeping us entertained this afternoon. Thank you, John, and be careful out there on your motorbike this weekend. Make sure you got your gloves on, John. I was out with a friend of mine last week and he was stopped by the police not wearing gloves, and they gave him a caution this time. But yeah, it is law now for people on motorbikes to wear gloves at all times, including the passengers. So just make sure you got gloves on and be safe out there. Okay, so it's almost the weekend, Friday the 13th today, but don't panic, it doesn't mean anything in Spain. Here in Spain it's Tuesday the 13th, so we're all right today. So more tips and advice on living and working in Spain and some great music, kicking us off with this one.
It's Friday, and that Friday feeling, getting you into the mood for the weekend.
Helping people who are living and working in Spain. It's The Right Way with David Wright.
So the comment section is open now. It's rebooted, so come and join us. We've got John Alex, John O'Loss G and Guy all in the comment section. Hi guys, thanks for joining us today. So yeah, got loads more tips and advice on living and working in Spain today, and a few more amendments to this animal welfare law that's come out, the new sentient beings, so pets and animals. I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about that later on, and also some building and regulation news here in Spain. And kicking us off now with a bit of Queen. This one's for you, Guy.
It's a kind of magic.
Queen now. Now it's time to say a big thank you to the sponsors of my show, Next Stop Ibiza, a professional relocation service and property search in Ibiza. NextStopIbiza.com understands the challenges and the joys of relocating to Ibiza and is committed to making your transition as seamless and stress-free as possible. So, if you're thinking about buying or renting in Ibiza or relocating there, then go straight to nextstopibiza.com.
David Wright. Help and advice for living and working in Spain. You're listening to The Right Way. The Right Way with David Wright.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about building and regulations, and Guy's bombarded me with quite a lot of questions. I'll try and answer some of those for you, Guy. Just going off the top of my head, there's a few there, like for health and safety regulations. Yeah, health and safety here in Spain has increased a lot in the last few years. Definitely when I started my building project here, my new house build 4 years ago, the rules and regulations have dramatically changed. There's very, very strict rules and regulations on health and safety. For example, when I bought the plot of land here, there was nothing on there. It was just a piece of dirt. I had to put a fence up straight away. You are responsible. If somebody walked across that piece of ground, just a piece of waste ground, fell over, they can sue you straight away. So you need to make sure that everything within that building site is completely closed and locked with a fence, and the fence needs to be at least 2 meters high. So the health and safety, we do also have regular health and safety checks on the building project I was on here, and people say, oh, it's Spain and not like that, but yeah, trust me, they've even got drones out now where the council have these drones flying around and they can check on you, your property and your building works. Also, as far as noise goes, there isn't any restrictions on building noise if it's building work. The worst thing is people cutting tiles with a big electric grinder. That makes a really squeaky, high-pitched noise, but if you've got building permission, that comes under the building license, so you will have permission to make as much noise and dust as you like. If neighbours complain, then you might get a visit and they'll ask you to do something about it. Like, for instance, we were making quite a lot of dust when it first started, digging out the ground with tractors and diggers and things like that. So we had a visit. One of the neighbours complained about the dust. Can't really help it. It's part and parcel of the dry climate here. And what we did is we agreed that each morning we'd go out and each afternoon and spray the dirt with a hose pipe. So that was how we got round that one. But really, if you've got a building license, you've got the license, you can do pretty much what you like as far as construction goes in that. And building hours, I see you got there as well. Yeah, the building hours here, it will be when you're doing any building works, it'll be on the license there, you'll get the hours, but you can work up till 12 o'clock at night. You can make a noise up till 12 o'clock at night. And you can normally, the construction starts at 8 o'clock. In the summer months, it starts at 7. But you can even start before that. Before 7 in the morning, you might have some restrictions. But yeah, normal license hours are between 8 o'clock and 8 till 8. It's normal. Most of the building works, they do knock off about 6, 7 o'clock here. In the summer months, they might go on till 10 o'clock at the most. But you do have permission to work till 12 o'clock. And yeah, remember there's the small building works license and the large building works. That's minor and major license. The small building works license you can get from your local council. The larger works, that means if you're doing something more construction like windows, doors, brickwork, knocking down walls and things like that, you will need a major building works license, and for that you will need architect's plans as well. Try and answer some more of those questions as we're going through, and it's time for the first Spanish one now. Leo.
Live.
David Wright. David Wright. David.
The Afternoon Show.
Yeah, so answering the other questions there for you, Guy. Plans, if you don't follow plans, well, most of the building plans you don't follow exactly. The only thing is really critical is the footprint. So if you're doing a new build or building a house or an extension, you need to follow that outline plans exactly. Otherwise, when the council come to inspect, and you always have an inspection, they measure it thoroughly. And I don't just mean with a tape measure either. They come with a satellite instrument, and it has to be registered with the cadastral at the council, so the satellite measurements are what counts. So yeah, when we finished our house build, they came and put this satellite stick thing with a dish on the top of it on each corner of the house and on each point of the corner of the walls surrounding the house to measure it, to make sure the GPS location was the same as the GPS location on the plan. So yeah, but apart from that, inside measurements of walls and doorways, things like openings, you can alter that as you go, depending on your preference with your builder. Finding the right builder in Spain is always a bit of a problem. I didn't have that problem when we built a house because the builder was me. My wife and I built the house, and I mean built all of it, all 10,500 bricks and blocks and cement and everything. But we did contract a company to come and dig out the footings and put in the cement footings, which they call a losa here, and it's a big thick slab with reinforcing to support the weight of the house. And we did shop around for builders for that, but really that is generally price more than anything. Although the company that actually did it, that we went with, we were recommended, and we knew the company, so it's always best to go and see their work previously. And I would always go for a bigger company as well. The smaller companies, a bit more risky, but make sure you see their work, and always go with recommendations. You can't go wrong that way. Following the plans, I think I've covered all of that. Now, a guarantee on a property, if it's a new build, it's normally 10 years guarantee, the building guarantee. And if it's a new build, most of the materials are be guaranteed as well. So yeah, it's around 10 years. So I hope that's cleared that up for you. Almeria Radio 107.5 FM, The Right Way with me, David Wright, and it's Friday, it's almost a weekend. And John O'Loshgy, yeah, I haven't heard that about the painting blue marks on the floor for the drones, but I have got a contact as well in the local council planning office here, and I used to visit him quite a lot. And one day I had a query about my roof terrace that we were building, and he went, well, let's have a look. And he got his computer out and opened it up, and he's got like satellite view, it's like Google Earth that I've got on my PC, but his is way more sophisticated. He zoomed right in and he pointed out to the terrace, and we could point out on the screen there exactly what I was going to be doing. And he said, oh, you want to do this and do that and things. But I was amazed at how clear his photographs were from his PC, what he could see of us in the building work from his Google Earth. So yeah, they are quite advanced here in Spain now. They're not as backward as they used to be. So with the drones and the planning permission and things like that, people say, oh, you can do this and you can do that. You've got to be careful now. And talking about building and planning regulations, I've got a couple of friends that have bought a plot of land a few years ago, building a property here now. And you've got to be very careful with the banks when they offer you the money, when they offer you your mortgage to get started. You've got to make sure that everything is in writing and you understand before you start what exactly you're going to be getting and what they're going to be covering in that mortgage. And also, if it's a new build, you get a mortgage for a new build property. Now, you've got to get that changed over once the house is built, and you've got to get it changed over to a property because it's a building works, and then it becomes from a building works to a property. So there's a transfer there. You've got to go and make sure you get that sorted out as well. So the mortgage will have to be changed on that. When I started our building project here, we were told that we were going to get the money to start the building. It would be paid into the account, and I could go and buy materials with that money, no problem. This was direct from the bank manager after several meetings, and when it came down to it getting started, the money was never there. And when we went to tell them, we've started, where's the money? They said, oh yeah, you buy the materials and get started, and then we'll come and inspect it and we'll assess how much you've spent and we'll give you that money. So this was completely different to what we were told, what we signed for and everything. Not much we could do about it by then, so we had to go out and buy the start of the materials with our own money. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, we got an assessor round, came round, had a look, and we'd spent about 10,000 on materials, and they assessed it at 7,000. Obviously the bank never likes to lose out, and they released 7,000, not the 10,000 that we'd spent. So that's how it went on for the project. Oh, and by the way, you have to pay them €250 for their visit to come and make sure that they can release your money. So yeah, you pay them €250 for that privilege. So make sure you understand all these rules and regulations. It can be expensive and it can be difficult, but it is still worth it at the end. I think it's worth it for me anyway. It's a lot more expensive than we expected, but you just need to make sure you have all the facts before you get started.
Right. Help and advice for living and working in Spain. You're listening to The Right Way. The Right Way with David Wright.
So guys asked about the dogs barking. Yeah, it's a problem here in Spain, and especially if you're out in the country a little bit. The Spanish like to have their dogs locked up outside at night and barking, and there is something you can do about it as well. First of all, you're supposed to go to them directly and ask them to do something about it, which often doesn't work very well. And if that doesn't work, then you can go to your local council or local police station, and you can put in a denuncia against them about the noise, especially if it's in the evening. Late in the evening, you can go and put in a reclamation against them. Now, there's a lot of new animal welfare laws that have come into place on the 29th of September this year, and now a lot of animals, including dogs, are classed as sentient beings here. That gives them a lot more rights, and I'll just give you a few of these rights and regulations. Now, it is compulsory to sterilise all animals that are living outside of your dwelling or family home here in Spain now, as from the 29th of September. All pets must be registered. This is all pets must be registered with the authorities, as they are now complying a list. It is a list. It is a list that they're compliant of all the animals, all the pets across Spain. Now, when this list is done, they're going to come around and check. And if they do come around and check and you're not registered with your pet on that list, it will be a fine and the animal could be taken away from you. Now, this is all part of the new animal welfare law. Some people are really up in arms about this. There are some crazy things they're going to be doing, but it's how they're going to monitor it, I'm not quite sure, but it's coming out. It's actually out now. There's a lot of alterations have been made to this already, and I did tell you about the civil liability insurance that came out on the 29th of September. That's already been put on hold, so it's not actually part of the new law yet, but it will be. They're going to amend it. They just need to justify how they're going to come around and police it, but you will need a civil liability insurance. This is not health insurance for every dog or cat here in Spain. Now, the other thing as well, you can't leave your pet unattended for more than 72 hours after that. It will be classed as abandonment, resulting in a heavy fine here in Spain. Now, all dog owners need to comply with the new dog owner course. You have to take a compulsory dog owners course now. Now, I believe you can do this online. It's fairly straightforward and it is free to do. But you have to do this dog owners course, and this is is exempt for hunting dogs. Don't know why, but there you go. It's exempt for hunting dogs. And there's a lot of reptiles, snakes and things like that that will be completely banned. You will not be able to keep them as pets anymore in Spain. Now, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? All these animal cruelty rules and regulations, but the bullfights are still allowed to stab the bull to death and let it bleed to death. So, yeah, it doesn't quite make sense. But these rules and regulations are pretty strict, and they're out on the 29th of September, so they're in force now. If you want to know more about these rules, read through it exactly yourself, go over to the Almeria Radio website, click on the drop-down menu on the right-hand side, and go over to my page. That's The Right Way with me, David Wright, and there's a link there to these new animal welfare laws in Spain. Beautiful song there, 3 Times a Lady by the Commodores.
Live.
David Wright. David Wright.
David.
The Afternoon Show.
Yeah, so as part of the animal welfare laws, as guys pointed out, you're allowed to take all pets into stores now here in Spain, bars and restaurants and public buildings, crazy as it may seem. And part of this means that you are not allowed now to leave the animal tied up outside a supermarket. So if you've got a dog and you pop in to go and buy some eggs or something and you tie them up outside, it's up to a €10,000 fine now. So make sure you're aware of these rules and regulations. If they're going to be enforced, then there's going to be a lot of people with some big heavy fines, I'm sure. But quite how they're going to enforce it, I'm not sure, but it does stay all pets. So imagine if you've got a pet horse and you want to take him into Mercadona this weekend, I think you wouldn't be getting me in the shop for much longer after that. But there you go, it does stay all pets, and how they're going to enforce it will be quite interesting. Okay, so it's time for Artist of the Week now. Okay, so yesterday I did an interview with a guy here that I've known for several years that's got himself a contract job here in Spain. His Spanish wasn't very good, and if you missed that, you can get the replay to that over on my website. That's davidwrightonline.com. And he's also, not him, but there's some other people there that I've interviewed with a non-lucrative visa. After 1 year, they've got a change to this visa. Now, it's called an amendment to the visa, so they can change to go self-employed or to a working visa. And I've actually seen proof of people that have done this here in Almeria, and they're now working here in Almeria after the 12 months has passed on the non-lucrative visa. And I've been told as well that it takes a couple of months to do this, so you want to start the process before your 12 months is up. As usual in Spain, it takes a little bit longer to process the paperwork on that. But yeah, it's something that is possible. It is a fact now. It can be done. And I've heard rumours, so I can't say for sure, but I'm going to try and do an interview with the honorary British consulate here very soon about the new rules and regulations that are going to be changing for these visas in the new year. So there'll be some good news, hopefully, for people that want to work in Spain on some of these visas. But on the non-lucrative visa, you can work after 12 months here. It's an amendment to the visa, quite straightforward and fairly easy to do, apparently, but it takes a little bit of time. So if you want to go and watch that the interview I did, it's over on my website. That's davidwrightonline.com. You can check that out. And also we have help from top experts there that can do the process of paperwork for you, and many more things and benefits as well over on my website. Now it's time for another Spanish one. This one's a bit of a weird one. It's quite a funny one really, but quite a catchy tune. See what you think. So yeah, somebody said to me this morning, was that you on Radio London? Yeah, I was on Radio London, did an interview, a guest interview there, talking about some changes here in Spain that are coming out very shortly. And you can go and have a listen to the replay on that over on my website, davidwrightonline.com. I had another company phone me up and wanted to interview me about the climate change and how the British people are suffering in Spain. I turned that one down. I think it was pushing too much for the climate change, and how are the elderly standing up to the heat, and how is people coping in Spain? All that. After the pre-interview, I said no, I think I'm too busy for that one. It's always hot in Spain. It's always been hot in Spain for the last 21 years that I can remember, and the British people cope with it pretty well.
Oaxaca and San Juan.
I want to just say a quick thank you to the sponsors of my show, nextstopibiza.com. They have been the sponsor of my show. And if you want to sponsor my shows, any of my shows, then just come over to david@almeriaradio.live. david@almeriaradio.live. Send me a message and I can give you all the details there. That's it for me for another show. I'll be back same time, same place next week. Thanks very much for listening, everybody, and have a great weekend.